Welcome to this week's edition of Cardiovascular Updates, covering the latest breakthroughs. Brought to you by LucidQuest. Primary mitral regurgitation cases have surged by 126% since 1990, now affecting over 16 million people worldwide. Mortality has decreased in high-income countries, but it's rising in low socio-demographic index regions due to underdiagnosis and limited access to care. Experts call for global equity in mitral valve therapy, particularly access to transcatheter solutions. In the U.S., Boston Scientific has initiated the FRACTURE trial using its new Bolt IVL system. This intravascular lithotripsy device treats calcified coronary lesions with acoustic pressure waves. The first American patients have already been treated in this multi-center trial, aiming to improve outcomes in complex PCI cases. Meanwhile, in Singapore, the National Heart Center has performed Southeast Asia's first Pascal transcatheter valve repair. Designed for patients unable to undergo open heart surgery, the procedure helped a 77-year-old patient return to daily life within days. In women's health, a major Swedish study involving 2.2 million participants reveals that pregnancy complications, like preeclampsia and gestational diabetes, significantly increase long-term stroke risk. Researchers urge early interventions and lifelong cardiovascular surveillance for women with such histories. OMRON Healthcare has issued an urgent warning. Deaths due to atrial fibrillation, heart failure, and hypertensive heart disease have increased by 81% since 1970. Alarmingly, only one-third of heart disease deaths are now due to heart attacks. OMRON calls for widespread home blood pressure monitoring, AI-driven atrial fibrillation detection, and earlier intervention. In artificial intelligence news, researchers at Johns Hopkins have developed the MARS model to predict sudden cardiac death. By integrating MRI and patient data, MARS achieves an 89% prediction accuracy, vastly outperforming current clinical guidelines, especially in the high-risk 40 to 60-year-old demographic. Staying with AI, a study involving 1,293 patients has shown that tongue color, analyzed using machine learning, can strongly predict cardiac events. Models like XGBoost and LightGBM achieved an AUC above 0.97. This novel approach integrates traditional Chinese medicine with modern biomarkers for coronary heart disease. Turning to interventional innovation, the Spiral Gemini trial has begun. Medtronic's study explores multi-organ denervation, targeting both renal and hepatic arteries to lower blood pressure in patients unresponsive to medication. This international trial will evaluate safety and efficacy across 175 participants. The FDA has approved the MOCA-2 trial to evaluate CoreFlow's Co-FI system. This diagnostic tool aims to identify microvascular obstruction during PCI, currently an unmet clinical need. The trial will enroll more than 200 STEMI patients across the US and Europe. And finally, Solid Biosciences has announced its first-in-class gene therapy for CPVT, a rare but life-threatening arrhythmia. SGT-501 is an AAV-based therapy designed to stabilize calcium regulation in the heart. The Phase 1b trial is set to begin in late 2025, following regulatory clearance in the US and Canada. Stay ahead in cardiovascular research. Like, share, and subscribe for weekly updates. Visit lqventures.com or email us at info@lqventures.com for expert healthcare consulting. See you next time.